it's me, Aina here. Thank you for coming to see me. Today I'm going to give a little update on my health, how I have been doing in the past few weeks, and also I'm going to do a makeup. And today I want to use only items from Boxycharm, and specifically from the past 6 months. So Boxycharm comes once a month, like this small nice box you get, which way? This way. But every 3 months they send this giant box, which they call luxury box, and this is really giant and this is really full of items, right? So I haven't uploaded, as I said, for a couple of weeks now, and people left me messages, which is something I didn't expect. It was several messages concern how I'm doing or why I'm not uploading videos, and it really touched me. Thank you about caring for me, because I didn't expect it. Actually, I was kind of, after uploading my last videos, I kind of felt like nobody really watches it, so it didn't occur to me that anybody even notices that I'm not uploading any videos. So I was surprised and pleasantly surprised, and thank you. And I'm going to upload more often now, because I understand that there actually are a few people there who are interested seeing me, so thank you. So let me start putting on my makeup, and while I put on my makeup, let me give an update on my health. So first I'm going to use a primer that the Boxycharm sent me. The primer is on. This feels really nice primer. I have used it a couple times now, and I want to say that this primer is comparable to primer that is my favorite from Guerlain L'Or. I don't know how much this one cost. This one costs like $79 or something dollars. So this is really expensive, and I try to save it and use it only for special occasions. But I'm saying, like, right, like this primer is comparable, but I bet this one doesn't cost as much. So I'm definitely going to try to find out where I can buy it, because I have tried different primers. I would say at least 5 different ones, and actually primers overall are not that good. And I feel like a lot of people say that they don't use primer because they don't know if it's even doing anything, and I think the reason is because the primers on average suck, and they either don't do anything or they make things worse. And so finding a good one is really nice. I wasn't expecting it from it, actually. Right, so next thing, let me put on some foundation. I'm going to use my Estee Lauder Double Wear one that is way too light for me, but I could have returned it, but it was really good quality, and I just kind of felt like it's too much trouble to return it, because I ordered it online. I would have sent it back online. Another thing is why I never really return makeup is because I feel it's not right, like kind of unethical, because I have already opened it, used it. I don't know, I just feel really uncomfortable asking my money back. And I try to always make it somehow work for me. And so this time, how I'm going to make it work is I'm going to just mix this foundation that is way too light for me with darker one. So I ordered something some time ago from Nordstrom. I ordered some Elizabeth Arden items and they had some promo. I got a bunch of Elizabeth Arden items for free on top of my purchase. And one of those things was Mousse Makeup Flawless Finish. And I'm just going to add that. So I was really sad that at the time when I got this, it was way too dark for me. But now I'm happy I didn't got rid of it. So I'm just going to mix it. And I should get the perfect shade for myself. Right. So what I have been up to past few weeks, I actually feel relatively good considering that I have terminal cancer, right? So overall I feel I'm doing relatively well. I can tell I'm doing better than the same time last year. Like for example, I remember same time last year I wasn't really well enough to do much gardening work, so I have a nice little vegetable garden. I hope I'm going to make a few videos about my vegetable garden in the future or very near future. So I have about 12 veggie beds, so it's quite sizable. It's almost like a size of a small community garden. Right, and this year I have been gardening up a storm last week or so, or even longer, because right now it's kind of the time to get your veggies in, put, you know, it's spring. And yeah, last year I think I didn't get much done and I was really struggling at the same time. So, and I think the reason I'm feeling better is because the current medication, so I'm taking, I'm not actually taking, it's given to me through IV. It's chemo medication. Last year, same time, I was taking something else, and that something else had a lot of side effects. And this current chemo medication really doesn't have a lot of side effects. Actually, recently I was feeling, like last week, several days I was feeling really dizzy. And I was wondering what the heck that is, and I was really worried that it's a new symptom, what's going on, you know, what does it mean? Because with my case, any kind of health thing can be like things are getting worse. But then I realized that some reason I had forgotten to take my antidepressant medication. I don't know how on earth I forgot to do it. But yeah, like several days I had forgotten to take it, and basically it caused dizziness and nausea, like the side effects of like basically stop taking antidepressant had a side effect of causing quite a severe nausea and dizziness. Right, so that's why they say never stop antidepressants cold turkey, right? But luckily I figured it out and everything is fine now. The biggest thing, I guess, what has happened recently is that the last 2 weeks I have not actually been able to get my chemo medication, and so I got it only 2 weeks, and then next 2 weeks I haven't had it, and today I'm going to get it again. Right, so why did I not get my chemo medication the past 2 weeks? Right, let me start the story from the beginning. I was supposed to get a PART 2 weeks ago, and so basically it's a surgery. It's they only give you propofol, so you're kind of awake, but you're like kind of in a twilight. And then they stop the propofol, and then you kind of wake up and you're back to normal. So it's kind of surgery, but it's not super severe surgery. You just go in and out. Right. And so 1 week they stopped my chemo medication because my white blood cell count was quite low, and they were hoping that if we just skip 1 week of treatment, the white blood cells are going to jump back up again. So the thing was that the last medication I was taking was also chemo medication, and that itself had devastating effects to my white blood cell count. So basically, when I started this current chemo, my starting white blood cell count was only 2.5 units, right? And the minimum is like 4 units. So to begin with, I already had very low count, but then after 2 weeks it had dropped to 1.9, right? So the week that we skipped it actually didn't help much. At the end of that week that I skipped the chemo, it was 1.9 units. And then there was a weekend, and they hoped that, okay, during the weekend maybe it goes a little bit higher, and the surgery was scheduled for last Monday, so last week Monday. And early in the morning we like woke up like 6 a.m. and dropped our daughter off like 7 to the school, and then went when my daughter go to school, and the actual hospital like very close, so like 5 minutes driving, we were in the hospital already. Like I think 7:15 I already checked in. And right, they of course started the IV, and they also told me that before we actually start the surgery, we're going to, just in case, check your blood count again, because last week your blood count had been only 1.9 units, but hopefully it's higher now. And so they also had to draw my blood, of course, because my veins are so bad that so they really struggled. Or the nurse, she was so wonderful. We had like we actually kind of bonded, because I spent quite some time with that nurse. So like we shared, she had a son the same age my daughter, and my daughter at the time was going to a camp, and so yada yada yada. So it doesn't matter. But while we were talking, she was trying to put the IV in, and it didn't go at all. Like, so first she had to draw blood before she put the IV. So that was a struggle, but you know, she somehow got the needle in, and then very slowly the blood kind of dripped out, and she was able to get a blood sample. And then unfortunately she wasn't able to use that vein, like it closed, and she had to try to find another vein. So at the end, so she tried like I think like 3 tries, and she finally got it in. But so right, the thing is that before that surgery they tell you that you cannot eat, but also don't drink. So I was severely hydrated at that point. And if you don't know that, but hydration, how hydrated you are, also affects the veins. Like they kind of, you know, like close down if you don't have if you're not hydrated, basically. And that so basically made my situation worse. So every time I go give a blood, or I know I need to give have an IV put in through veins, I always try to drink a lot of water. So that really helps. So that's also another issue, that you know, I wasn't supposed to drink water, so I didn't. and that actually comes to play a little bit later during my discussion here. So during this whole time, my hubby was with me, because they said, I don't really understand why, but they said the whole time your hubby has to be next to you, basically checking on you. That's something related to your safety. And so we're waiting and we're waiting for the blood samples. So they already moved on, started doing surgery with the next patient that was waiting. And so we're still waiting, and then they come back and say the blood clotted, and they don't know why. And they had to do another blood sample, basically. Again, it was a struggle, and this time we actually used my arm that we're not supposed to use at all. So my left arm, because lymph nodes have been removed from under this arm. Right, so they took the second sample. And then we waited again, and so basically finally when the blood sample came back, we had already been waiting like over 4 hours there. I mean, we were supposed to be like in and out literally like in few hours, and still we were there. And so the blood sample came back, and turned out that my blood count had even white blood cell count had actually lower. It was not 1.8, from 1.9 to 1.8. And so they said, we're just going to cancel the whole surgery. Oh, so, and they say, okay, we're going to schedule for the next, so this week's Monday, which, so basically everything was off. Like, they took my IV off, they just sent me back home, right? And said, we're going to call you, schedule hopefully next Monday. But actually turns out that they canceled this Monday's surgery for board, so, and they haven't contacted me. So today I'm hoping to find out like what's going on, when is the surgery coming. So basically I still don't have the board, and they really need it. And like, for example, today, when I'm going to go see the doctor today, I'm supposed to give blood again. Then I'm going to see a doctor, we're going to discuss things, and then I'm going to get my chemo today. And they're going to need to put an IV in me again. And like, I don't know what they're going to do, because this hand, the only hand that can be used is just unusable.